Whoa!
Let's go.
What up, fans? Welcome to SnackChat Live, the show where I take you all around the world in search of food that's really, really good. I'm your host, Brent Tim, and today is my 113th, can you believe that? My 113th day on the island of San Pedro here in Belize. I am beyond excited for today's episode because you guys, the fans here in Belize, made this video possible. Today is the sequel to the critically acclaimed Academy Award winning, well, maybe not some of those things, but it's the sequel to the Belizean Snack Spectacular. The responses I received from my last Belizean Snack Challenge video were absolutely overwhelming. I can't even begin to thank you guys for the insane amount of suggestions and recommendations you gave me in finding other foods, other delicious snacks to try out here in Belize. Today I'm featuring 9 different snacks from all over the island of San Pedro, and listening to my audience, listening to you guys, the fans at home, so many of you told me, Brent, the snacks you tried in your last video, those are all name brand, mass-produced snacks. If you want to find the delicious, real, authentic Belizean snacks, you gotta go into town. You gotta go to these little storefronts. That's where you're gonna find the really tasty treats, no name brands, nothing like that. So I listened and I searched. I spent literally 4 weeks combing all the streets here in San Pedro. There's only 3 streets, so it actually wasn't a lot of combing. But to find you guys, what I think are some of the most interesting and delicious snacks out here on the island. So today we are showcasing only locally made snacks, with the exception of one product that does have a name brand on it, but you guys went crazy and told me I have to try it. So stay tuned to the end of the video to see what the most requested snack is going to be. But enough about that. Let's get down with the challenge. All right, fans, turn on those turbo boosters, make sure we're fully fueled up, and let's get ready to take the rocket ship to Chow Town. I can already tell by the amount of sugar content in most of these snacks, I might be suffering from a diabetic coma by the end of the day. But we'll deal with that when we get there. Let's start things off with something that's traditionally had here in Belize during breakfast. This is the extremely popular bread pudding. Y'all, this bread pudding is so thick, super dense. You hear that? Wow, this stuff looks really, really moist, heavy. I got 3 pieces of it, but I feel like just one is gonna fill me up here, especially for breakfast. But oh man, check this out. It looks so tasty. Pow. Okay. Ooh, that is some dang good bread pudding. Wow, where to begin? Incredibly moist, very sweet, but not overly sweet. I looked up a few Belizean bread pudding recipes, and apparently most of them call for raisins, but I don't find any raisins in this one here. I am getting a very subtle taste of like nutmeg and cinnamon, and maybe just a teeny tiny bit of coconut in there as well. Oh, this stuff is absolutely delicious. This is way more of a dessert, at least to me, than it is a breakfast snack. Y'all, can you even imagine this fresh, warm out of the oven, and then putting like a scoop of vanilla ice cream on top? Too rich. Y'all, I'm gonna give this bread pudding 4.1 rocket ships. Straight up, this is the best bread pudding I've ever had in my life. Bread pudding is actually found all throughout Belize. You're gonna find it in virtually every single bakery and in a lot of mom and pop stores as well. Really digging this. Would absolutely get the bread pudding again. All right, get ready for this. We're about to go back to back with 2 types of coconut snacks. First up, we've got something called Belizean tableta. A few other people called it tableta de coco. What we've essentially have here is shredded, possibly toasted coconut, and it looks like it's been cooked in some sort of like brown sugar and condensed milk mixture. This stuff looks absolutely delicious. I can see the sugar crystals sparkling off of it. Cannot wait to chow down on this. Whoa! Whoa. 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 That is an incredibly strong rum flavor that I'm getting from this. I swear to God, it's like the coconut was soaked in rum. The rum flavor absolutely overrides the coconut taste here. I like it. It's got a little bit of crunch to it, but also a little moist in there as well. I've been eating a lot of coconut since I got to Belize, but whatever they've done to this tableta, it really accentuates the flavor of the coconut. Extremely robust. That said, as much as I do like coconut, I can't say I'm the biggest fan of the tableta. I think this would almost be like an acquired taste. Maybe I'd chow down on this a couple times a year. I don't dislike it. I certainly don't hate it. It's just not for me. That rum flavor is just so strong. I'm gonna give the tableta 2.5 rocket chips. Very average, but let me know what you guys think of the tableta in the comments. I said we're going back to back with the coconut treats, and baby, we're going back to back. Next up, we've got something called cocobrut. This looks to be giant chunks of coconut as opposed to the shredded coconut that we found in the tableta. I talked to the very sweet, very nice woman that made this. Shout out Wendy. She said that cocobrut, it's essentially just brown sugar cooked with these big chunks of coconut. So super excited to see what this is all about. It looks like they almost actually kept the coconut skin on in some areas here, just by the looks of the gigantic sugar granules, sugar crystals, whatever you want to call them. I can tell this thing is going to be an absolute sugar bomb. Pow. Ugh. Wash your teeth. All right, the texture of the cocobrut is extremely gritty. And there's so much brown sugar in here, it's almost like chewing coconut that's been dipped in sand. Certainly not awful. Again, just like the tableta, it's just not for me. Your mileage may vary, you may like it. The chunks of coconut are very fresh. Once you get past that first layer of brown sugar, very tender. Inside, still a little bit of juiciness to that coconut, which I really dig. But the sugar content is just absolutely absurd. I mean, this is an instant cavity almost. There's a few other ways I would definitely choose to eat coconut. If I had to pick between the tableta or the cocobrut, the tableta would definitely be my coconut of choice. I've read that some variations of the cocobrut contain cinnamon, but this one is just pure straight up brown sugar. I'm gonna give the cocobrut, y'all, this is a 2.2 rocket ship snack. All right, check this out. Next up, we've got something called calabaza and tacha, otherwise known as candied pumpkin. I am an absolute fiend for pumpkin. I love it, not just at Halloween. Love pumpkin pie, pumpkin bars, anything you can put pumpkin in, yo, I'm all about that. But I've never had candied pumpkin in my life. This stuff looks insanely sugary. Look at that glisten. Look at the sugar shine on that pumpkin. From what I understand, to make candied pumpkin, you essentially take brown sugar, and this plate cannot get any more brown. We went to Brown Town with this plate of snacks, y'all. We essentially have pumpkin that's been boiled with brown sugar, but apparently this is Mexican pumpkin and not an especially Belizean treat, but I have seen it at several places around Belize, and as you guys know, the cultures all through the Caribbean kind of meld together to create some super tasty flavors. So here we've got the pumpkin skin. That looks super hard, feels really hard. I don't think I'm gonna bite into that. I don't wanna chip a tooth. I got zero money, zero healthcare. I can't afford to bust out a chomper, you dig? But yeah, the inside here, the actual flesh, the pumpkin innards, looks super gooey and soft, but enough chatting, more chowing. Well, whoa. Okay. I dig that. Wow, what a truly sweet treat. The pumpkin flavor is there. Take pumpkin, put it on sugar-filled steroids, and that's the kind of flavor you're gonna get. This might be one of the sweetest spins on a vegetable that I've ever put to my tongue in my life. absolute sweetness overload. I feel like I need to chug a gallon of water after just taking that bite. But ooh, is it good. And the inside is like mushy, obviously very sweet, very moist. It's got a good amount of flavor locked in there. You know, this certainly hasn't been dried out at all. You know, the candied pumpkin is really, really good. In moderation. I certainly don't think I could eat this every day without suffering some serious health consequences. But if you're craving something sweet, and to a certain degree, something that at one point was nutritious, definitely check out the candied pumpkin. So as somebody that literally has snacks on the brain 24/7, whenever I chow down on a new snack, I always think, what could I pair with to make it even better? And just like the bread pudding, what if we took just a little bit of very like French vanilla ice cream, scooped out the innards of this candied pumpkin here, mixed that all up together? I think that would absolutely be mind-blowing, and I think it would kind of help to cut the sweetness of the pumpkin, even though, of course, vanilla ice cream has sugar too. I think it would create kind of a nice balance and a little bit of a contrast in there. So I really dig this. I don't think I would eat it just straight up plain all the time, but using it as like another ingredient or as like some sort of like filling for even like a donut would be. Oh, guys, can you imagine a candied pumpkin stuffed donut? Get on the phone with the donut commissioner. Somebody's got to make this now. Yo, I'm gonna give this 3.5 rocket ships. So I'm going to highlight one more snack down here and then move the operation up to my apartment because I have been invaded by a swarm of very hungry, sugar-addicted flies that won't leave me alone. So before we head up, we're about to chow down on what the Belizeans call, well, Belizean fudge. Now, when I think of fudge, I usually think very chocolatey, very dark in color, but this Belizean fudge, just like virtually everything else on this plate, very brown. It looks to have been made with brown sugar. Belizean fudge, pow. Unexpected. Okay, so when I bit into the Belizean fudge, it was not what I was expecting. When I hear fudge, I think very dense, almost not quite melted, gooey in the middle, but just fudge is gonna be like covering every inch of my mouth, covering my tubes, sunk into the molars. This actually has a lot more in common with, I would say, peanut brittle, if you can believe that. To me, Belizean fudge is completely different than the fudge you might be used to having back home in America and elsewhere in the world. This fudge is incredibly dry. There's a lot more emphasis on like a brown sugar, nutmeg, vanilla flavor than there is on typical like chocolate fudge. Zero chocolate was used in the making of this fudge. That doesn't mean it's not good, but it's got a very like, how to put it, kind of like a very like gristly, chalky texture to it. I enjoy this in moderation. A piece here and there would be tasty, but like a lot of the other snacks I've tried, I don't know if I would be apt to eat this all the time. Yeah, I wouldn't call this fudge, I would call it brown sugar brittle. It's definitely gonna hit that spot if you're looking to satisfy your sweet tooth. But if you came to Belize looking for a typical chocolate fudge, you might be a little disappointed. Yeah, I did like the fact that this didn't feel like it was gonna break my teeth. When I bit into it, it is essentially pretty light. When you bite it, it does kind of crumble fairly well on your tongue. It does look like there's some sort of, I don't know what that is in there, a little black speck of something. I have heard they do use things like coconut and nutmeg in these pieces of fudge, so maybe that's what I'm seeing. Anyways, I'm gonna give the Belizean fudge 3.2 rocket ships. All right, time to pack up my bags or pack up my plates and go upstairs to delve into some other sugary, delicious treats. If you've been to Belize, if you've been through virtually anywhere in Central America, almost every single fruit and vegetable stand you'll visit will be overrun with plantains. And I've become absolutely infatuated with plantains since discovering them through my entire life. I would see them all over the place at supermarkets in the United States. Never would I ever think to try them. Then I came down here and I learned the ways of the Belizean plantain cooking. And I learned how to properly cook plantains, and I've been in love with them ever since. Seriously, I'm crushing like 6 a week. Love to share some of those recipes with you guys later, but for now, let's take a look at one of the most popular and most prolific snacks on the island here and all throughout Belize in general. We've got the standard, the classic plantain chips. You can buy these in chips, you can buy these in strips, you can buy them in little circles. Virtually any way they can slice, dice, cut a plantain, they're gonna fry them up and serve them to you just like this. I've eaten a ton of different plantain chips since I've been here. What I really like about most plantain chips is that they're very mild in flavor. Once they're fried, you don't get any of the traditional sweetness that comes with eating a raw or a baked plantain. These ones here are very similar in taste to a potato chip back home, although with a little less oil flavor. Some of these you will find in stores will have a little bit of chile powder on them, or they'll actually have some sort of unique seasoning that I can't put my finger on. As you can see here, I got these from an unmarked bag. I bought these from the supermarket. I didn't see any at the street vendors that I normally go to. And at the supermarket, they had like 7 different bags, all of them no label. Who knows where they come from? Nutrition facts, what are those? You know, kind of a mystery chip, and I really, really dig that. Let's see what these plantain chips are all about. Guys, I think these are old and stale, and I know they're disgusting. Yuck. I should not have purchased these plantain chips. I should have gone with ones that I've had before. Yuck. These ones actually do have a little bit of like spice, little spice flavor at the tail end. Oh. Cut! Gah! Gah! Normally I like plantain chips, not these. These are like if somebody took a thick potato chip, soaked it underwater, and then let it sit in the sun for about 3 days. These are totally past their expiration dates. See, that's why we can't have labelless bags. Had there been a expiration date on here, I would have known to stay away from these chips. But these are soggy. They've got a really just old, nasty flavor to them. Y'all, this is a 1.2 rocket ship snack. Would never get these again. I would, however, get plantain chips a million times over. Let's pretend that these aren't old and disgusting and soggy and rotten and just the worst plantain chips ever. Let's pretend they're good and fresh. I would really be enjoying them. I'd love their mild flavor. The plantain chips are so good for sopping up sauces, salsas, hot sauce, anything like that. The flavor just sticks and penetrates to every little crack and crevice inside the plantain chips. So let's strike these from the record and never speak of them again. Back to the sugary stuff. Hey look, more brown snacks, just what the fans wanted. Here we've got tamarind. If you've never had tamarind before, it's a fruit. It's also very popular amongst children. Oftentimes tamarind is made into like a candy. A lot of juice stands will also put this into smoothies as well. I know I've had tamarind in candy form. I don't think I've ever had straight up raw tamarind. Although the owner of this shop, the person that made it, told me that they included a little bit of salt and pepper in this tamarind to give it a little bit of flair. So let's see what up with the tamarindo. Ooh, here we go. It's thick. It's so thick. It's insanely sugary. Oh boy, here we go. Ow. Well, I learned something new. Did not know tamarind had a pit. Did not know it had a core. Wow, really glad I didn't take too big of a bite into that. Ooh, okay. There's some spice going on here. Hold up, playa. Super sweet, but the spice is oh so nice. The texture is kind of similar to the candied pumpkin. This is almost like a really thick, almost like a jam or jelly. This would be unreal. Spread it across like a nice, freshly toasted piece of bread. I don't know if I was supposed to eat it like this or use it more like a condiment. I'm really digging it. And in case you guys are like me and don't know what tamarind is, according to Wikipedia, tamarind is a leguminous tree bearing edible fruit that is indigenous to tropical Africa. The genus Tamarindus, hey, that was actually the name of my college band. Hope you guys checked out the genus Tamarindus at the auditorium last week. Is monotypic, meaning that it contains only this species. The tamarind tree produces brown, pod-like fruits. That must be those little pod pits that I had that contain a sweet, tangy pulp. So the pulp must be what they've like whipped up in here. And apparently it's sweet and tangy and yes to all those things. But yo, there's way more in here than just tamarind, sugar, and salt. Whatever spice blend they put in here, really kicking things up a notch. Check out this tamarind. Spicy, sweet, tangy. This is like a miracle fruit, guys. This stuff is awesome, and again, I think it'd be way better as a condiment than just eating it straight up. Yo, 4.5 rocket ships for the tamarindo. Make sure to check it out. Skrrr! I also need to note that a lot of the locals here informed me during the course of the filming of this episode that many of the snacks that I showcased today are actually made with condensed milk. So I think a lot of the sweetness that I found in some of those treats can be attributed to the sweetness of the condensed milk. So just an FYI. Ooh, all right, only 2 more snacks remain. Thankfully, because my battery's about to die and my teeth are about to fall out. Here is a classic street treat for those hot summer days, and essentially every other single day it's hot in Belize, which is like every day. But we've got something called a paleta. There is a very nice man that walks around pushing this cart, ringing this bell all day, selling paletas. I've had these a few times. Previously, I tried the sweet corn flavor. That left a little bit to be desired. But these, all you really need to know about the paleta is that it is a Mexican, Belizean, Central American popsicle. Paleta time. Ooh! This immediately reminds me, when I was a kid, my mom bought me this popsicle making set from Kool-Aid, where you'd mix up the Kool-Aid, freeze it, put it in a popsicle form. I'm getting major nostalgic Kool-Aid vibes off of this. Haven't bit in yet, but just from the initial suck, I think I actually see some pieces of strawberry. So paletas are known as ice pops, but this one was definitely made with milk. Positive it was condensed milk, it could have been cream, because this is a very nice like strawberries and cream flavor to it. Really creamy, really smooth, teeny small chunks of strawberry in there, but that's perfect. Great strawberry flavor, not overly sweet. I can tell they didn't add any sugar to this. Very mild on the sweetness scale. That is a really good dessert. Paletas. Very happy with this purchase. A stellar frozen treat. The guy selling these told me the most popular flavor here on the island is coconut, so I might try to check that one out too. But I figured we had enough coconut snacks today. Y'all, the strawberries and cream mix, very nice. I'm gonna give the strawberry paleta 4.2 rocket ships. I would absolutely get this again. Do not sleep on the paleta. Don't say see you later to the paleta. Don't be a paleta hater. All right, that's enough. The paleta was really good though. All right, last but certainly not least is the #1 most requested, most recommended snack. This isn't even a snack that all you guys in Belize told me I absolutely had to try. I got so many messages saying, Brent, you gotta try Big H. You're gonna love Big H. You gotta try Big H. Everybody drinks Big H. I'm thinking, what the H is Big H? Well, it turns out Big H is actually orange juice. And straight up, I was a little mystified when so many people told me to try this, because when it comes to orange juice, you can find it fresh squeezed all over the island. All I have to do is walk like 3 minutes from the apartment here, and I could find no less than 3 places selling fresh squeezed orange juice. So when people told me I have to try something store-bought, big brand name, I was kind of surprised. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense when the fresh stuff is sold real close for essentially the same price. But you guys know I love and trust the Belizean people here, so let's see if the big H stands for big hype. Cheers. Well, it's definitely orange juice, I can tell you that. Is it any better or any worse than any other orange juice you might be able to buy? I don't know. It's good orange juice, but I can't help but feel that if I had a glass of fresh squeezed right next to me just this cold, it would be just as good. And it does seem a little sweeter than most orange juice. There are no nutrition facts, so I can't tell if they added sugar or corn syrup or anything like that. But when it comes to orange juice, there's no way I'm gonna choose to buy a packaged bottle from a store when I can just go down the street and watch it be fresh squeezed in front of my own eyes. Food just tastes a little better too when you can see there's been some sort of, action to make it, so to speak. Taking all that into consideration, I really hope I don't offend you big H lovers, but to me, this is just a 2.3 wave drink. It's not special orange juice, it's not especially delicious orange juice. I think this is just straight up run-of-the-mill OJ, but for me, this isn't it, folks, sorry. Whew. So that's that. 9 snacks, 9,000 kilograms of sugar. I think I'm going to need to see 9 dentists to take care of these 9 cavities that I've just developed from eating all this sugar. We're about to go on a sugar detox after this. So glad I was able to try all these sugary snacks though that you guys recommended. And that's that. A very sincere thank you to all my Belizean friends who made this video possible. Thank you guys so much for commenting and sharing the last video and helping to guide me with so many great recommendations and suggestions on what's really, really good here in the island of San Pedro. So as always, keep tuning in, keep turning up, and keep chowing down. My name's Brent Tim. This was SnackChat live in San Pedro, Belize, and I'm saying ciao for now.